Welcome to Film Movie Recaps. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful day, and let's begin.
Warning, spoiler alert.
In a future where the rich reside on a luxurious space station and the rest live in poverty on a ruined Earth, one man must go on a dangerous mission to bring equality to both worlds. Today, we'll be looking at a movie recap of the 2013 American dystopian science fiction action film called Elysium. The story begins in the year 2154, where the Earth is plagued by overpopulation and pollution, leading to the widespread occurrence of chronic diseases. The majority of the population live in poverty and misery, while the elite people have fled to a distant, artificial world called Elysium. In Elysium, the wealthy enjoy luxuries and every comfort that poor people on Earth can only dream of, including the use of medbays. Medbays are personal medical chambers that can cure any illness and keep the inhabitants young and healthy. The distinction between the wealthy and the poor is so prominent that even those on Earth who are dying from illnesses are not allowed to enter Elysium. Max, a child living in an orphanage, looks up at the sky and dreams of reaching Elysium one day. He is determined to fulfill a promise to his friend Frey, to take her to Elysium. Max is habitual in using illegal means, such as theft, to collect money for his journey to Elysium. One day, the nun of the orphanage tries to make him understand that using criminal methods is not the right way. She encourages him to aim for something greater, and gives him a locket with a picture of Earth, telling him to keep it as a reminder of where he truly comes from, when he makes it to Elysium. As Max grows older, his tendency for theft persists, and becomes more serious as he escalates to stealing cars. This gets him incarcerated for his crimes. Additionally, his connection with Frey is lost, and the nun has passed away. Upon his release, he decides to change his ways and secures a job at Armadine, a factory producing weapons and robots for the wealthy Elysium residents. The factory's CEO, John, only focuses on increasing profits, and frequently visits the Earth to oversee operations. One morning, Max is on his way to work when the bus arrives, and all the passengers are instructed to form a line. Max obliges and joins the queue, but a police robot approaches and inspects him due to his prior criminal record. Max jokingly informs the robot that his bag only contains hair products. However, the robot ignores his explanation and forcibly detains Max on the ground. Upon finding nothing harmful, the robot then proceeds to inflict a brutal beating on Max, breaking his arm before charging him, and directing him to report to his parole officer for the charges against him. Max is hospitalized due to his broken arm, and faces a crowded environment, which is common on Earth, as diseases are unlimited. While he waits for his nurse, he is surprised and happy to see Frey, his dearest childhood friend, come to his bedside. Max smiles at Frey, who expresses pride in her for becoming a nurse. She sits with Max for a while before leaving to attend to other patients. Max follows her to the reception desk and asks her out for dinner, but she declines. Max reports to the parole officer as instructed, but the robot orders him to report daily for a period of 8 months without a single day off. Max attempts to argue his case, explaining that he had no harmful items and was simply joking around, but the robot disregards his reasoning and enforces the strict zero-tolerance policy. Poor Max arrives at his workplace, where half his pay is deducted for being late. The scene shifts to Spider, a hacker who developed an unauthorized method to access Elysium. Individuals become Elysium citizens through illegal means, relying on Spider spaceships to get there for medical treatment. Although risky and often involves many casualties, this method is considered as a final resort for those suffering from chronic illnesses. Spider sends 3 spaceships carrying Elysium IDs to the space station. As the spaceships approach, Defense Secretary Jessica receives an alert and orders them to return to Earth. However, they refuse to comply. Jessica contacts her agent on Earth, Kruger, and instructs him to use missiles to destroy the 3 spaceships. Kruger destroys 2 ships, resulting in 46 casualties, but 1 ship reaches its destination on Elysium. As the spaceship touches down on Elysium, people hurry out and attempt to enter homes to use the med bays for treatment. The Elysium robots begin arresting them. However, a mother and her disabled daughter manage to enter a home. On the medbay, the daughter is scanned as a registered Elysium citizen, and receives immediate treatment, enabling her to walk again. The mother is overjoyed and sheds tears of happiness, but just then, the robots arrive and apprehend both of them. Subsequently, all individuals from Earth are arrested and deported back. Max is employed at Armadine's radiation department on Earth, where the door to the radiation room becomes stuck. His boss orders him to fix it, and he enters and attempts to move the obstruction, causing the door to close and trapping him inside. He is exposed to dangerous levels of radiation and loses consciousness. A robot is then dispatched to rescue Max. Due to the radiation, the medic informs Max that he has just 5 days to live. The CEO of Armadine pays Max a visit, but is only concerned with the bed he's occupying, not his well-being. A robot then administers Max's medication to alleviate his pain, so that he can continue to function until his death. In Elysium, the president reprimands Jessica for disobeying his orders. Because of her, many innocent lives were lost. Kruger, who is working as her agent, has a questionable criminal history. So the president instructs her to dismiss him, and she complies. The president warns Jessica that she will be fired if a similar incident occurs again. Upset about his impending death within 5 days, Max turns to his friend Julio for help. He confides in Julio about his situation, and Julio takes him to see Spider, the only person who can save Max's life by sending him to Elysium. Initially, Spider refuses. However, after Max threatens him with a weapon and reveals that he is dying, Spider reluctantly agrees. Spider demands that Max murders a billionaire to extract confidential information from their brain, so that he can seize control of their data and bank accounts for his own gain. Desperate, Max agrees to the deal, but says that the target must be Armadine's CEO, John, whom he despises. Recognizing that Max's poor health may hinder his mission, Spider enhances Max's abilities by attaching a powerful, third-generation exosuit to his body, linking his entire nervous system to a neural chip, and granting him the strength of a police droid. Meanwhile, John meets with Jessica, who convinces him to recode the entire Elysium computer system and deliver the confidential data to her, so she can install it herself as the president. In exchange, she promises Armadine another 200 years of contracts. John, whose company is facing investor loss, sees this as a lucrative opportunity and agrees. John returns to Earth and begins recoding the Elysium computer system. He uploads the confidential software data to his brain and implements a safeguard to prevent others from accessing it. Max leads a team to ambush John in an attempt to retrieve the confidential data stored in his brain, but encounter resistance from a droid during the fight, resulting in multiple injuries. Despite this setback, Max manages to defeat the droid and successfully transfers the information into his own brain. However, the data becomes corrupted and unreadable due to the safeguard that John had put in place. Kruger, who has joined forces with Jessica once again, intercepts Max and Julio's team. He kills the members of the team and chases after Max and Julio as they try to escape in a car. Kruger blows up the car, injuring both of them. As Max lies wounded, Kruger approaches and stabs him. Julio tries to shoot Kruger in defense, but he is killed. Despite being injured, Max manages to load his weapon and fires at Kruger. However, Kruger activates a deflector device, creating an almost impenetrable electromagnetic shield that protects him from Max's bullets. After witnessing the deaths of his friend and team, Max flees. Jessica receives an alert that someone has copied the data from John's brain, so she orders Kruger to apprehend Max without causing damage to his brain. Additionally, she issues a no-fly zone order for the entire city of Los Angeles to prevent anyone from leaving. After analyzing the confidential data obtained from John's brain signal, Kruger becomes aware of its significance to Jessica and decides to seek revenge for her previous betrayal by capturing Max himself. He issues an order for more reconnaissance drones to be dispatched in search of Max. As Max flees to safety, he finds refuge at Frey's home. While tending to Max's wounds, Frey notices a tattoo on Max's body that reads F+M and realizes he still loves her. Upon waking up, Max discovers Frey has a daughter, Matilda, suffering from leukemia. Frey pleads with Max to bring Matilda to Elysium for treatment, But Max is forced to decline, as he has become a target of Elysium security forces. Kruger, still pursuing Max, arrives at Frey's home and takes Frey and her daughter captive as they had aided Max the night before. Max, desperate to reach Elysium to receive medical treatment, turns to Spider for help. Together, they discover that the information obtained from John's brain contains the code needed to reset the entire Elysium system. If they reset it and install the new system with the manipulated data, they can register everyone on Earth as citizens of Elysium and allow the poor to receive treatments for all illnesses. However, all flights to Elysium have been blocked by Jessica, making it impossible for them to enter the city. In order to get around the air traffic block to Elysium, Max devises a scheme to convince Jessica that he is willing to sell her the confidential data for medical treatments. Meanwhile, Spider places a tracking device on Max to keep track of Kruger's ship. When Spider's ship arrives at Elysium, he will reboot the system, making it impossible for Jessica to access the information in Max's brain. Max willingly surrenders himself over to Kruger, knowing the valuable information in his brain protects him from being killed. Kruger brings Max on board his spaceship, where he is shocked to find Frey and Matilda held captive. Kruger then contacts Jessica, who then cancels the no-fly zone, allowing the ship to leave Earth. Taking advantage of this, Spider and his crew set out in another ship to track down Kruger's spaceship. During the journey on Kruger's ship, Max becomes enraged when he witnesses Kruger misbehaving with Frey. This leads to a fierce altercation between Kruger and his team, which quickly escalates into a violent fight. In the midst of the chaos, Max accidentally drops his grenade, causing it to explode, and Kruger is dealt with a severe facial injury. The ship's control systems get damaged, causing it to crash into a luxurious home in Elysium. As the ship crash lands, Jessica orders for all the survivors to be brought before her. Frey, who had managed to escape the wreckage with Matilda, desperately searches for a medbay to treat Matilda's leukemia, but is denied treatment, as she is not recognized as a citizen of Elysium. Eventually, Max, Frey and Matilda are apprehended by Kruger's crew and brought to face Jessica. With no regards for Max's life, Jessica orders the information from his brain to be scanned and downloaded, despite knowing it will result in his death. Frey and Matilda are taken away by the guards. As the doctors attempt to extract the information from his brain, Max manages to break free from his restraints. He knocks out the doctors, escapes and sets out to rescue Frey. Meanwhile, Kruger is taken to a medbay for treatment, where his face is restored to its original condition. Upon awakening, his desire for revenge on Max intensifies, due to the damage caused to his face. Jessica walks in, furious with Kruger for endangering the citizens of Elysium with the crash of his spaceship, berates him, and in retaliation, Kruger stabs her in the neck. With the aim of becoming the leader of Elysium, he intends to alter the code. Kruger is upgraded with the latest next-generation exosuit by his crew, and he sets out to find Max to obtain the code. In the meantime, his men carry out a massacre of all the political leaders and staff in the building. As Max searches for Frey, Spider and his team arrive on Elysium and begin tracking Max's location. Max spots Spider on a security monitor and contacts him, urging him to implement their plan to make everyone citizens of Elysium. Just as one of Kruger's men is about to harm Frey, Max arrives and defeats the attackers, rescuing her. While escaping, he reunites with Spider. Frey then heads to the nearest medbay with one of Spider's men, waiting until Max and Spider recode everyone as citizens of Elysium, so that her daughter can be registered before receiving treatment. Max and Spider work together to retrieve the code from Max's brain and recode the Elysium system, but they are intercepted by Kruger. A violent fight ensues, during which Kruger, with his upgraded exosuit, overpowers Max and severely injures him. Just as Kruger is about to emerge victorious, Max manages to disable Kruger's neural chip and kills him using a grenade. However, the process of extracting the code triggers John's failsafe, and Max is faced with the choice of sacrificing himself to save humanity. Despite the cost, Max presses the button to restart the Elysium system, ultimately giving his life. Consequently, every person on Earth becomes a registered citizen of Elysium. Matilda is healed, and Frey is overjoyed. Automated medical ships are dispatched to Earth to aid those who are sick and injured. As Max looks back at a locket given to him by the nun, he contacts Frey, telling her he has fulfilled his promise to take her to Elysium.
Thanks for watching. For more quality movie recaps like this, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Have a wonderful day.